Alright, so we have Venom in the Graf Zeppelin. 4 destroyers, so again, we're going to have to pay some attention to this. Graf Zeppelin is not strong against destroyers. Also, it is a double CV match, so you have a Ryujo that might end up riding Herd on them as well, which can be very useful. The biggest threat on the Graf Zeppelin is going to be its secondaries and its torps. So theoretically, you'd be spending a lot of time interacting with battleships, but you're going to have to do something about this. You're kind of like the British rocket planes. The Graf Zeppelin rocket planes are very slow. Okay. I'm okay with this movement because you have the other CV to spot for you. But I don't think you want to be looking at the Bismarck here. Okay, 4,000, you got a fire. I mean, so you burned a damage con on the Bismarck, but you lost 8 planes to do it. Because you're in the flak area, the Dunkirk, the Mast, the Megami. He's letting the fire burn, which is nice, I guess, but that is fully healable damage. Ideally, with the rocket planes, you'd be looking more for cruisers or trying to have influence on destroyers, because you're not going to be able to destroy. You're not going to be able to interact with destroyers with torps and bombs, not with any real consistent extent. It's going to be the rocket planes, and with 4 of them, you can't just throw them away. You'd just be chucking out a resource that you need to manage. You didn't have a game played for 10 minutes, got luck and the team pulled a win. Lots of good advice, thanks. Hopefully some will stick this time. Thank you very much for the bits, sir. And thank you for the replay. Alright, so the fighter goes down. Okay, so 2 things. With the Graf Zeppelin, with the bombs and the torps, Graf Zeppelin planes are very fast. So you want to be already going damn near full speed when you're committing to a strike. I think you were at a pretty fast speed. I think you were about 210 while you're coming in on the Bismarck. But not only are you having to come in quick while you're making the strike, you also have to figure, where am I going outside of the strike? So if you're striking the Bismarck here, you're coming out stuck between a Massachusetts and a Megami. And these things have no fucking health. These things are just absolutely brittle. If instead you came over and maybe struck from this angle, you'd briefly touch Massachusetts AA, drop the Bismarck, and bail away from the Massachusetts Megami. Or you could have struck, well, there's a fighter here, but theoretically, if the fighter wasn't there, you could have struck through the Megami AA to hit and run from the mass. Make sure that you're placing your planes somewhere where they're not just going to get ripped apart. It happens to all of us. So right here, you're decelerating, which is good to get a better drop angle, but it just means that you're getting shot more.
All stations requesting fire on the designated target.
And your planes just cannot sustain being shot. It's not something that they do well at all. If we look at this, we have the heavy push. This is your heavy side over here. They've committed to Bravo and Charlie. This is your weak side. You can see it's only a destroyer and a mass and a vanguard that are running. So this Eagle is pointed in the wrong direction. He probably just gets run over by a Mahan and murdered. So you've got torp planes. What can you torp? This cluster of 3, especially because of island cover, is going to be really awkward to hit. You're probably going to want to try to work on the Fuso or the Edinburgh. Now the Edinburgh probably gets clocked by like the 5 or 6 people over here that are going to shoot him. Working on the Fuso is going to allow that not to be there while they're turning to swing. But this is tough. Also, your carrier needs to be getting the fuck out. I mean, you can hide behind this island, but once the Eagle dies and the Massachusetts piece is out, you got nothing between you and a whole bunch of people that love to kill a CV. Okay, cool. Got the drop burning out. Because of the angle, he's able to juke the torps, but you're able to burn back in and get a second drop. You need to lead more. So this dude's burning at like 30 knots. You're going to drop back here. You might land one torp with this. You might actually want to lead out here. Although maybe you have torpedo excel and the speed slot thing. Okay, so that did work out for you. Do you have torp excel? You might have torp excel. Alright, well you did get hits there. At this point, you're almost out of resources. You're basically out of rocket planes. You do still have some torps left. This is pretty tough. You need to be working on the Gepard, you need to be working on the Fubuki, the Mahan, you need to be working on the front line, because all you guys are doing is just running. Oh, there's no way in hell, man. That's the French DD, he's got all the ability to run in the world. Unless, like, you just totally surprise motherfucker this dude. Yeah, I think he just totally... Whatever the drop was, it was so random, he's... Ah! And he slid in. Okay, and you are spotted because the detection on this thing is horrible. So I guess you post up on the island or whatever, which is okay. If you're able to post up here and just kind of like make them come closer to where you could actually get your secondaries in, that would be useful. Because the secondaries in the Graf Zeppelin are no joke. You're gonna coast out and get spotted again. If you hard turned... Oh, you're trying to run. Okay. At this point, I figure you're so in there, you're not gonna not be detected at this point. So you could just hump the island for a little while until maybe you get secondary pressure on something. But I mean, holy shit, maybe you got out. But if so, you have all the broadside in the world you're gonna be eating. You gotta be using rockets. I mean, the torps are good, they're gonna turn them, but you gotta be using the rockets for this. Because these are extremely slow torpedoes. The German tech tree line has 55 knot torps base. They're very fast. The Graf Zeppelin has 35 knot base. They're very not fast. Especially against a French destroyer, because French destroyers are known for their extreme amounts of speed. Now, you have a Ryujo on your team. The Ryujo is able to chuck torps at 50, 52 or 57 knots. And that speed difference is going to be a different, but yeah, the rockets are what's going to get the kill. Alright, so at this point you have full torpedoes. You could definitely be torping the Dunkirk Fuso. That's what's interacting with your team. That's what's contesting this cap. This stuff, I mean, you actually bailed and it worked. So as long as you keep running, these guys aren't going to catch up. You need to be torping the ever-living shit out of these. You get spotted by the enemy CV soon, maybe? No, he's going to work on that. So he's working on these, you need to be working on these. That's 3. That's a little too close, which I think you realized, and that's why you turned. Oh, that sucks. Are they going to be able to get Bravo? Maybe they will. Okay, so for the AP bombs, Massachusetts is extremely hard to bomb. Extremely hard to Citadel, to the point where I don't even know if you can Citadel him. You can Citadel the Bismarck, but you cannot... I would never expect to be able to do this. So you're either going to be bombing the Megami or bombing the Bismarck. Oh good, they killed the T6 CV, that's cool. Going into this, you're probably just going to want to be running torps, and you're about to have some torp planes land right now that you could be running right back out there and just torping that Massachusetts over and over again. I have not checked out the... the test server yet. By the way, nice drop. I actually have to figure out how the hell to get onto it. I did it a long time ago, but then they changed with the single client thing. Do you still just use the single client, or do you have to download a second instance? I need to figure that out. Okay, so you're moving your CV. Megami's looking to claim Bravo. You've got AP bombs out for it. Cool. And the Bismarck is dead. So at this point, you know this now, bombing the Massachusetts does not matter. So you want to be going out with torp planes. Also, if you can torp across the Massachusetts, you can slow how quickly he's pushing because you might get him to slow down or turn. Well, that was just... I mean, okay. But the Massachusetts is the thing that's going to kill the Ryujo and you. Or can. So you have to deal with this. The Ryujo cannot. The Ryujo is going to lose all of his planes trying to interact with the Massachusetts, and the Massachusetts is just going to heal through it and not give a shit. So this one falls to you. And the other good thing is, the more you can make him dance, the less he is, you know, the more he's not on those caps. So 2 caps to 1, you're taking a point lead off of this, or will eventually take a point lead off of it. Unfortunately, the bombs are going to be trash, so we're not going to see any useful damage off of this. But gives times for the torps to come back. Second instance, specifically as the test server when asked. Okay, got it. A little too close. I think you got surprised. You got 8 torp. One other thing to remember, these rockets have 48 mil pen, or sorry, 40 millimeters of pen, and this Massachusetts has a 38 millimeter deck. So you can torp him, but you can also rocket him. You can rocket him, you can pen through the deck, and you can set fires. Yeah, so at this point, it's going to be rockets and torps will be what you need to be using. So you got some rockets while the torps are still looking to regen. Heading out with this. Cool. Double fire, 5 hits. Good damage. Swing around. Get the drop before the fighters come out. Cool. You might have to start reversing because the mass is going to see you soon. You sling into fighters, you have to bail. Yeah, that's nice. So that's going to give you a point lead, and the Implacable is actually taking Bravo. What a cheeky dude. And actually gets it, but it's only a minute 10 in the game, so that's not enough to change the points. Got a Citadel, woo. 46 seconds. At this point, it doesn't matter. You guys have won as long as you or the Ryujo do not die. If the Implacable knew how hurt you were, he'd probably be trying to bomb you. Because he could have killed you, maybe, but GG.